I've always been interested in henna. I've always liked doing it on myself, my family, my friends. When I started, I didn't really have the idea that it would be so big as it is now. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just jumped straight into it.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to Muslimahs In Motion, professional pursuits, where we celebrate the achievements of young Muslim women in tech, entrepreneurship, and beyond. In this inspiring episode, we sit down with Afnan, a dynamic entrepreneur who turned her passion for henna into a thriving business. Afnan shares her incredible journey from the initial spark of an idea to the challenges she faced and overcame while building her brand from scratch. We delve into the creative process behind her branding, the cultural significance of henna, and the strategies she employed to grow her business in a competitive market. Tune in to hear Afnan's insights on entrepreneurship, creativity, and the power of following your passion. All right. Well, assalamu alaikum, Afnan. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm good.
That's awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for just choosing to take your time to be here and stuff. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to, talk with you and discuss all of this stuff.
Of course. I'm really excited just to share your journey because to be honest, I feel like this is very needed, especially in our community. There's so many of us who are career women, entrepreneurs who really want to do big things. And I think personally, I admire you and respect you a lot, mashallah, tabarakallah. So
Thank you.
I want your story to be there because I want people to know that I have a cool friend, he has a cool business, but then also it's just so inspiring, honestly. SubhanAllah, you really do inspire a lot of people. So I feel like you're just sharing your journey. It's going to be able to inspire so many more people. So I'm really excited.
Thank you so much. That's so touching to hear. And also, I'm so inspired by you as well with all that you're doing and all that you've done so far. So it's mutual.
You're too kind. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So first things first, I have a question for you. So deserted island, 3 things. It's a classic question. What are you bringing with you?
Okay. We don't get options. It's just we have
Nope,
to choose?
You gotta tell me.
Okay.
What are the 3 things?
I never thought about this for real. I guess I would bring my phone. What else? Dang, out of all the things in the world.
I would hope you bring your glasses.
Oh,
gotta see, right?
I just thought that was a given, but yeah, I guess my glasses.
Hey man, it's deserted, so you really don't know.
Yeah, okay, my glasses, because that's a necessity. My phone, because I do a lot of things on my phone. Hopefully that would come with data and stuff.
I would hope. Again, it's a deserted island,
so probably
so
not.
We don't know if there's even going to be any signal because all the trees.
Right.
Don't let me influence your answer. Let me just hush.
I'd bring some water.
Okay.
You can't live without water. That's the first thing. So.
Absolutely. We love that.
Phone, water, glasses.
Awesome. I think that's a very informed decision. That makes sense.
Yeah, we'll go from there and see what we can do with that.
I mean, hopefully a rescue party will come soon.
Right.
All right. Let's get to the meat of the matter. What brought you here? As in, what brought you to where you are today? What is the beginning of Afnan's beautiful henna business? Tell me about it, the name, everything. What inspired you to start, I guess?
Well, I've always been interested in henna. I've always liked doing it on myself, my family, my friends, things like that. Never professionally, but just for fun, growing up, it was nice doing henna for weddings or for Eid, of course. So I've always liked to do that. And so, when I was in college, I think this was 2019, I was working a desk job along with, going to school, of course. And so I was thinking about different side hustles that I could do. I don't know what got me into thinking that around the time, but that was just my mindset. I was just looking at what side hustles I could do, and they told you to find what you're passionate about and go from there. And so I've always been interested in henna, like I said, so that was kind of like a no-brainer for me. So instead of doing it on people professionally, that would be the more common route to take. I figured that, a gap in the market, as you can say, would be like mixing the henna or providing the henna as a product. But yeah, providing it as a service would be the more needed thing in the market. So that's what I decided to do. And I started that around 2020 of January 2020, sorry. So, and I didn't really start making sales until April of 2020. And that's when things took off, and, it's grown into what it's become now. So alhamdulillah, I'm really grateful for the whole journey.
Alhamdulillah. Wow. So do you remember the exact moment where you were like, okay, like, let's get this show on the road. We're going to make this into a business? Or did you just like kind of start on a smaller scale? You just kind of bought a little bit of henna, mix it yourself? Or were you just like, let's dive in, let's just make this a whole business?
I kind of, when I was like brainstorming it in 2019, I just bought like a couple of products, like like some henna powder, and then the things that you need to mix it with. And so I decided to mix it myself. And I never thought that it would be what it is today. I think at the time I was just looking for like a small side hustle to, help me get through school and things like that. So it wasn't really planned in what happened, but alhamdulillah, once I got on Etsy, the marketplace, that's when things really took off and grew almost bigger than me. And so I needed help from family and things like that, which is alhamdulillah that I even have that option to, have family to help me. And I'm not only doing this by myself, but yeah. It started small and grew to beyond me, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. All right, so Amarya Henna, beautiful name, tabarakallah, mashallah. What made you choose that name?
So originally when I first started, I was brainstorming names, and the name that I came up with was Henna Heroine, like the hero. And so that was the name for, I think, 2 to 3 years. That was our name. And so the reason why I changed it was, I guess, for obvious reasons. I just didn't want it to be associated with anything negative.
That's fair.
And my dad was also pushing me to change it because he saw that it was growing, and he didn't want, like we said, we didn't want it to reflect anything negative, even as a joke or anything like that. So yeah, we changed the name. And so the new name that we have now, Amarya Henna, is really a tribute to my culture, I guess, because in Hausa, Amarya means bride. And so it's, I guess, loosely translates to bridal henna, which is a lot of our customers are bridal artists, or they buy our henna for their nikah. So yeah, so that is pretty much what the name means.
Oh, mashallah. Okay, cool. That's actually kind of interesting. I didn't realize, because funny enough, I actually went to school with a girl named Amarya.
Oh, no.
But I didn't realize that Amarya translated to bridal in Hausa. I think that's so cool. It's like it's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
So,
people will actually think that that's my name. Like, they'll message me and they'll be like, "Hi, Amarya."
That's so funny.
It's really cute, but yeah, that's what it means. I don't broadcast it as much because I don't know why I don't, but I probably will, inshallah. But yeah, that's what it means.
Well, it's really interesting to hear how your passion for henna and kind of how the whole thing got started. Now, let's talk about the timing. So I know you mentioned in the past your business started in January 2020, which is honestly, like, as we know, 2020 was a year of, struggle
the
and strife.
Year. Yeah.
And so March is really when everything started going down.
Yes.
What timing, right? 2 months before a pandemic.
Yeah.
Was there anything at the time that like told you, okay, it's too late to turn back? Should I do this? Because the truth is, at that time it was a tough time for a lot of people, especially if you had your own business, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything that told you, okay, no? Or did you make a staccato and was like, okay, like, let's keep this train going?
Honestly, no. I'll be honest. For me, when I started, I didn't really have the idea that it would be so big as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I just jumped straight into it, and I just thought it would be something that I did on the side. It would never be like my full-time job. So when I jumped into it, I didn't have any like doubts or regrets or anything like that. And even, as the pandemic started and, as I even started getting sales, like I said, it was a little after the pandemic even started. So it gave me even more motivation to keep going, despite all the hardship that was going on around us. Seeing the sales grow and grow, it kind of, it motivated me a lot to keep moving forward and to not stop, because at first, when I first started, I was like, oh, well, I'm not getting sales. So is it even worth it? Like anyone would
Right.
would think.
Understandably.
But alhamdulillah, I didn't have any doubts at the time. In fact, now that we've grown more, now is the time that now that we've grown a little more, I feel like I have more doubts nowadays than I did before. Before, I was much more fearless and, ambitious in terms of just not having any doubts. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah. So timing, it really is everything. But alhamdulillah, like, in spite of all that hardship, I mean, your business was still able to flourish. It's almost like a reaffirmation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Even with all the garbage happening around me, I think, it just goes to show that, like, when you're doing something and you really have good intentions behind it, you just never know.
Yeah.
Right? We can't tell the future or anything. We just have to have faith, right? Especially if you really want to do something. So alhamdulillah.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
Right. Despite all the garbage, like you said, that's going on around us, it's even though there's so much going on, this one thing is going well. So it's like, it just gives you hope. It gives you, motivation. It gives you courage to keep going no matter what you're doing or what the scenario is. It gives you motivation.
Alhamdulillah. So were you in school during this time as well? Because I know, like, January 2020, right? So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was
still
an undergrad.
I was in my 3rd or 4th year, I think. Yeah, 2020 was my 4th year. I was supposed to graduate 2020, but I ended up taking a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also working at the time too. So both work and school and then the side hustle. So alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, work is already tough. Then you got school on top of that. Then, subhanAllah, you decided to pursue a side business.
Yeah.
How are you able to manage all of that?
Mm-hmm. Well, at the time, it was a little bit different, especially with the pandemic, because I had the job back in 2019, and then towards 2020, I didn't think that the pandemic would come and, put us all online and things like that. So school, we went online. For my job, I think they tried to make us go online, but after May-ish, they were like, yeah, we just can't, have you anymore. And it was work study, so it wasn't like it was too demanding anyways, or it was, it wasn't too much anyways. But yeah, so once May came around, then it was just school. So I definitely had a little bit more time than before to, navigate, running a business or running a side hustle at the time and going to school as well. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, the power of divine timing.
Yep.
Now, eventually we did go back to school in person.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's around the time we met.
Oh, yeah.
So how were you able to... So once we did make that transition back to in-person, how did things change for you? Was it a difficult transition? Was it pretty easy? I mean...
So I graduated May 2021. So I wasn't in person at all after March 2020.
Okay.
Only until I started my master's program in 2022. I started summer 2022. So that's when, I had to learn how to balance both of them, especially with my master's program being a little more rigorous than normal.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cohort program. It was fast paced. So it was definitely a learning curve to navigate all of that. But alhamdulillah, I managed. I don't know how, but definitely with help from my family and friends as well. I guess we can say that.
Alhamdulillah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're only human, right?
Yeah.
Can you think of any like tools or tips or just any resources you might have used to kind of help you throughout that journey? Or did you just pray and say, inshallah, let's just get this done?
I mean, yeah, prayer is always first, keeping Allah in mind, knowing that
Absolutely.
everything is only possible with Allah. That was first. Having community around you, having support, like my sister. If I didn't have her, I don't know where we'd be, honestly, because she's been there from the beginning, to help me. So yeah, she's definitely a big part. The rest of my family, they also help too. So having community, keeping Allah in your prayers, definitely always learning, always staying on top of, what your path is. Make sure you're staying on top of trends and things like that. That will always help you in terms of resources, knowledge that you didn't have before. That's always helpful to do. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, speaking of keeping Allah first, as I've known you, Islam is a very big part of your life, as is mine, right? Mm-hmm. We hold our Rabb in very high regard and keep him first whenever we're doing things. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So how would you say your Islamic values influence how you run your business or how you conduct business?
Well, with our business, we run it, Allah is, like you said, Allah is always first in our business. I make sure that everything that we do is in accordance with, Islam. Nothing is, morally, questionable or anything like that. We always start with Allah in mind. Everything that we do is essentially to please Allah, essentially to, make him happy. This is bigger than me. I don't try to, broadcast or brag about, what this is or what I'm doing or what my family and I are doing, because it's really a family business at this point. It's not just me. But yeah, everything that we do is in accordance with Allah. Like, for example, something as small as marketing, social media marketing. We try not to have music on our reels or videos. And if it is, it's nasheeds or Quran or something that doesn't have music playing, so it's a little more halal. Just simple things like that. We try to incorporate Allah in everything we do. We schedule our work times around prayer. With everybody that's working with us, we make sure that we have breaks for prayer. We have breaks. We're not overworking ourselves. Everything we do is centered around Allah.
Alhamdulillah, and may Allah reward you, because the truth is, right, especially in like in a working environment, typically, it's hard. It's hard to, especially when you're working for like a non-Muslim company, or that's the reality for a lot of us who live here in the West.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to find that balance, and alhamdulillah, it's a privilege. Like when you can work remote, when you can work hybrid, or when you have an awesome, boss or somebody who understands and is empathetic to your religion. It's not like that. So honestly, kudos to you, right? Because when you center Allah or keep Allah first in what you do, the success will it's almost like a consequence of that, it's a good thing, right?
Right.
Because it's almost a reward. You might think at first, oh, if I schedule prayer or put prayer, or I'm interrupting my business thing to go pray,
it kind of like slows things down.
It's like, whatever. But no, that's not how it works, you know. When you take the time for your creator, I mean, he's just gonna reward you. And on top of that, it's like you're almost sacrificing that time. Not that it's a big sacrifice. I mean, let's be honest. You pray, it's like 7 minutes, you know, max. But still, it's the little things that add up, you know. And may Allah make it easy for all of us, because I realize it's not, you know, I can't sit here and be like, oh, it's easy, right? Because everybody is different. Everybody's on their journey, right? Yeah. May Allah make it easy. But I think that's really cool and admirable. Because I speak to so many people. I mean, they've had issues kind of transitioning to the working space, because it's hard when you go from like going to school or being home. All of a sudden you have a meeting that runs during Zohar time. Right. And it's very annoying. Right. I mean, alhamdulillah, I'm fortunate enough to have like a boss that allows me to go to Jummah, allows me to pray when I need to, alhamdulillah. So I think it's really cool that you, I mean, as a Muslim business, is making that conscious effort, to just take the time to take those small moments in our day. You know, it means a lot, because you know, it's a good thing. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. It's very good that your boss is very understanding and is understanding enough to let you, you know, go to Jummah and make those prayers on time. That's something that, you know, everyone isn't blessed with. And I definitely realize that it's a privilege to be able to set our own hours and make sure that, you know, we're staying on top of our deen while still working.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And it's almost like, you know, a test from Allah, because, you know, just as the bad things are tests, the good things are a test as well. Right. Allah is saying, okay, I'm giving you this, mashallah, tabarakallah, successful business, giving you flexibility in your time and your hours. What are you going to do with that time? Right. Are you still going to take time for me? Or are you going to say, oh, let me just finish this one thing and then I can go pray or whatever. And then this one thing from 5 minutes turned to 10 minutes, turned to an hour, turned to this thing. Now, you know, auzubillah, you've missed this prayer. You know what I mean? Yeah. But alhamdulillah, I think that's like really awesome. You know? It's a really good thing. May Allah reward you, truly.
Ameen. May Allah reward all of us for our efforts and make it easier for those who, you know, may not have the privilege or the luxury to be able to make adjustments in their schedule according to Allah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And, you know, and at the end of the day, He sees our efforts, right? Even if it's not happening now, maybe it's not a no, but a not now. Right. You know, sometimes we make dua and our intentions are really, you know, we really try. We can make some shake. It's not always easy, but you also get rewarded for your efforts, which is such a beautiful thing, right? Yeah. Not just about what you're doing, it's about your intentions behind it as well, which I can see from how you run your business and even from how you're answering, you know, these prompt questions, whatever. You're a very intentional person. So, mashallah, it's a beautiful thing.
I try to be. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. So, as a result of that, I mean, are there any challenges that you feel like you faced uniquely in your business, as a henna business, as a Muslim business? Anything that comes to mind, maybe? Any shortcomings? I don't know.
So, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, a lot of when you're doing something for the sake of Allah, sometimes people might not be happy with that. So, you know, sometimes you can get a bit of negativity from, you know, product reviews, different things that people don't like about certain things, and you kind of have to deal with that. You know, you can't please everybody at the end of the day. And so that's something that, you know, is very challenging, deciding whether to continue to do certain things or sell certain products because of, you know, different reviews or different things. So that is really a big challenge that, you know, me personally, I face in this business. Another challenge would be, you know, right now we're trying to scale, and scaling is proving to be a little bit difficult because, you know, it's not everywhere that you can find reliable help, or not help, but reliable team members, people who you can trust to do good work. So that is something that we're learning and navigating as we grow and scale and things like that. But alhamdulillah, it's been very good. We're onboarding different team members like marketing and production. So inshallah, we can look back and say that, you know, it was easier than we thought, inshallah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And have you found that your dean opens up unique opportunities or perspective as you do business?
I can definitely say that because, one of the things that, we can connect on in terms of like meeting new people or like meeting people who are willing to, contribute to the brand or that really enjoy the brand. We connect on the fact that it's centered around Allah, I guess you can say. Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah. At the end of the day, right? I mean, that's the most beautiful thing. The love of Allah bringing people together, whether it is business people or friends, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific situations or scenarios, examples of that happening for you?
I occasionally get messages of how are people coming up and telling me how, they really love how we run the brand or how I run the brand in terms of like running it with Allah in mind, because, to run something with Allah in mind, you have to be very intentional about it. You can't just be going with the flow, especially with, how Islam is set up.
Absolutely.
So, people see that, they see the effort. And so I usually get messages saying, oh, I really appreciate how, you're doing this or you sell this product. And, it was really something that I struggled with. But when when I saw this product, it solved the problem that I had or, things like that. So alhamdulillah, I definitely am grateful to be able to connect with people in that way and provide a product that they otherwise wouldn't have, or just connect on the religious aspect of everything. So alhamdulillah.
Wow. So January 2020 to now, today's date being May 25th, 2024.
Yep. 4 years later.
4 years. Mashallah, tabarakallah. Wow. So I would say you're pretty experienced. I don't know. Or you have some experience.
Some experience.
I know you're a humble person, but to me, you are very experienced, mashallah.
Thank you.
So I guess one thing I would like to ask is some advice, What advice would you give to somebody who wants to turn their passion into a business? So like, let's say, maybe one day I wake up and I really want to start a hijab business. I feel like there's a gap in the market for crinkle hijabs. I want to bring them back. What are some actionable steps? What are the first things I should do?
Well, yeah, if you decided to sell crinkle hijabs, you definitely be successful, because I haven't been seeing them lately and that's what we grew up on. But alhamdulillah. So I would say to stay consistent for one. Whatever you want to do, just make your decision and stay consistent. Keep moving towards that goal. Also, I would say don't feel intimidated by what you see out there in terms of like saturation. Don't feel like, oh, there's so many people doing this thing. I might as well not do it. I might get lost in the sauce or whatever. Don't feel like that, because there's always somebody that's looking for that product, and you might be the person that, sells to them. Especially if you're doing it with good intentions, that's even better. So don't feel intimidated. There was a third thing I was going to say. Yeah, don't be discouraged. Always keep moving forward, keep being consistent, and just have Allah in your mind with everything that you do. Be intentional. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. And to your point about, worrying about the market being saturated, there's so many perspectives, right? So many ways one thing can be offered.
Right.
I mean, let's do the most simple of examples, Uber and Lyft.
Right.
They both do the same thing, but these businesses still exist within the market. Are they competitors? Yes, but they exist. There's so many different brands of bread, but at the end of the day, everybody still has their piece of the market, right? Their market share. I mean, one of the statistics I looked at, said like the global halal market encompassing food, pharmaceuticals, cosmetic, and lifestyle, according to the Global Islamic Economy Report, is projected to be worth over $2.4 trillion by 2024. Like, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of space on the market. So for those of you who feel like the market is saturated, it is not. Because at the end of the day, everybody has their own unique brand. Everybody has something they can share, they can offer. I mean, how many henna businesses are there out there? Not once did where you like, or I don't know, but to me, right? It's not like you sat there and were like, there's over 100 henna businesses. Let me just sit down and not do it because already so many people are doing it.
Right.
You have your own beautiful brand, mashallah, tabarakallah. You have your own unique offering to your specific subset of people, right?
Right.
I mean, you never know what opportunities you get. Like the market essentially is just too big for everybody to sit there and be like, oh, whatever I got, it's not going to add up to anything. Let me just sit down.
Right.
There's too many people out there. No, there's not.
That's even more reason for you to do it. There's so many people out there.
I mean, how many people are on this earth? And then we're going to sit there and be like, oh, I can't sell nothing. The market is already taken.
Right.
That is just not fair. Mm-hmm. It's not fair to yourself, honestly. So, yeah, I definitely agree.
You have your own unique, like you said, you have your own unique thing that you'll be selling to, that you'll be providing to, your potential customers, like whether it be good customer service or there's this product that does this one thing that all the other products that people sell, they don't have, there's always that one thing that you bring that other people may not bring. And that's what will make you different. That's what will make you successful. Inshallah.
And sometimes people just buy stuff from people because they like them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mashallah, tabarakallah, you're an amazing person. I mean, I remember I was so excited when I heard that you even had a business because I was like, wow, there's one more way to support this person that's really awesome, Mm-hmm. So it just goes to show when you have an amazing, personality and just an amazing, how do I say, like a radiant, right? Just shining. Mashallah.
I appreciate that so much.
You want to support your friends. You want to support people you care about. So it's really easy to do that.
Right.
Yeah, there's always going to be an audience for you. You don't know who it is yet. Maybe you don't know when you're going to blow up. But there are people out there who want to hear you. They want to know what you have to say. They want to know what you have to offer.
Right.
You just never know who you could reach.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's really cool, honestly.
And there's one thing that I want to add to that as well. There's so many people that are starting their own, side hustles or businesses that don't even show their face, on social media or, anywhere. That you don't have, as a Muslima, I know that's a big thing that we have to navigate in terms of, being seen and things like that. So there's so many people that if you don't want to, be the face of your business, that is perfectly fine. That's something that I know I have definitely struggled with. And I know that for me, I can tell you that I'm definitely not the face of my business because for me, I feel like I didn't create henna. So there's no point in me like broadcasting, oh, I'm the one who started it. This is me. This is my brand. I feel like this is way bigger than me. I want it to grow way bigger than me. So I just want to, put that out there that you don't have to, broadcast yourself or promote yourself just to be successful as well. You can definitely be successful without being on the front end. You can definitely be behind the scenes and still make things happen.
Absolutely. I mean, there has been a rise of, faceless brands, faceless content creators.
Yeah.
I mean, even myself, when I was doing research on that, and there has been several Instagram pages I've seen pop up where, especially pertaining to like the luxury, lifestyle, femininity content, where the person doesn't even show their face.
Right.
And not only that, there are businesses now that are popping up that that's their specialty. They provide faceless content for businesses. So let's say you have like a lifestyle business, and you just post like travel pictures. They have stock, or travel videos, excuse me. They have stock videos for people who want to show like, oh, my day in the life of, and it's like a cup on a pillow.
Right.
Or like them making a smoothie, but it's just hands,
Right.
So don't be afraid and don't feel like you have to show your face or anything to be successful. Because I know sometimes, like you said, it is hard. And sometimes, the reality is as women is like, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you just want to not be perceived. Like, speaking for myself, like, sometimes I don't want to be looked at. I just want to be like, I just want to do my stuff.
Yeah.
And people enjoy what I'm doing without necessarily me just being the face of it, or being about what I look like and what I look like to others.
Right, exactly, because that can definitely influence a lot of things.
Absolutely. It's not a bad thing necessarily. I'm not saying, obviously, to those who do choose to, that you're doing a bad thing, but that's just how I'm operating.
Right, exactly. Everyone has their own choice, their own, belief system, their own morals, so you can, of course, there's always that option. Just in terms of, wanting to please your Lord, that's more so the angle that we're coming from in terms of, if you don't want to be the face of your brand or the face of your business, that is definitely possible. It's achievable to not be in the front end and still be successful.
Inshallah. Okay. Nice. All right. So can you please share with us, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but did you ever face any significant setbacks while having your business? And if so, how did you bounce back from it?
So I don't really perceive them as setbacks, but I definitely did have to close multiple times throughout the years because, as a family, we like to travel a lot. Mm-hmm. So logistically, we couldn't stay open. So I had to close many times. But every single time I had to close, I viewed it more so as like time to build, time to, build behind the scenes so that, when we do come back and we do reopen, things are even more smoother, even better in terms of what we provide. So I never really saw it as a setback, but I know that some people could see it that way. So that is one thing I would say, closing at least 2 to 3 times during these last 4 years that we've been open. But alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And, I agree with you on the point where it's not necessarily a setback, right? Because the truth is, we're socialized to just keep going and going and going, especially when you're in entrepreneurship and like the whole hustle culture, of the side hustle part. Mm-hmm. I think it's time to come to terms with the fact that it is not every day you have to hustle. There is value in taking a step back, regrouping and re-strategizing and going. Obviously, inshallah, we want to all be successful and get to a point where everything runs by itself and, we don't have to lift a finger. But until then, right, I think it's about the journey, and once you make it about the journey and not necessarily the result, it's really easy to reconcile with that taking a break. Because let's imagine that you were so concerned about the metrics, the numbers, the things you were doing, not the things you were doing, but essentially the result, right? I need these 1,000 million followers by this time and this thing, rather than just taking it one step at a time. And like you said, valuing the education and learning the lessons along the way of having a business, right? It's really easy to feel discouraged because the truth is, like, most people are not going to make 1 billion followers in the first couple months of their business, right? Mm-hmm. But I really respect and admire, mashallah, tabarakallah, that you just like made it about the journey.
Yeah.
Because, go ahead.
Exactly. Like you said, at the time, I wasn't happy that had to happen, but definitely throughout, a couple weeks after, I would come to understand that it's not really about, staying open 24/7 or hustling so hard to where you're so tired or overworked, because that definitely was a reality at times. And I definitely had to learn early on that that's it, especially as Muslim women, it's not really conducive to our health or our success. So we definitely need to take breaks more often. It's not always about hustle, 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 or, making 1,000 followers, like you said, or 1 billion followers, or, having the highest metrics. It's more so about the journey and making sure that every step you take, you're growing one step. You're growing 1% more, or however they say it.
No, you're right. The 1%.
The 1% rule.
Yeah. Even if you just improve 1% per day, I mean,
you're getting better
than 0.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, honestly, for your time. I think it's been super insightful. I've learned a lot from you. Inshallah, many people will learn a lot from you as well. I do have a closing question for you. So, what is your favorite ayat, and how do you feel like it inspires or influences your approach to business and leadership?
Well, I'm sure everyone is familiar with this ayah. With every hardship comes ease. That is definitely something that I have had to, incorporate into not just my business life, but personally as well. Just like everyone else. That is something that at first I came to understand it as, after the hardship, you'll experience ease, things will get better. And, it's just like black and white, but it's more, I've come to learn that it's as you're going through the hardship, you also find moments of ease or, things to look forward to as well. Especially in business where, things are always up and down, or, things might be good 1 minute and then a little bit shaky the next. It's always good to have that ayat in mind. And yeah,
Beautiful choice. Beautiful choice. Well, thank you so much, Afnan. It was a pleasure talking to you. Where can we find you or your business?
Yeah, you can find us on pretty much all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and even Pinterest at Shop Amarya Henna. And you can also find us on our website if you are interested in henna, you want to browse our products. We are at amaryahenna.com. And yeah, that's awesome. Where you can find us. And thank you so much for having me and facilitating this discussion with your podcast. I appreciate it.
Of course, it was a pleasure, honestly. And may Allah facilitate your success. I'm looking forward to seeing you grow and grow.
Ameen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Muslimahs In Motion. We hope you enjoyed it and found it valuable. If you did, please consider subscribing on your favorite podcast platform and leaving us a review. It really helps others find the show. Don't forget to visit our website at hmsdev.co/MIM for more content, updates, and resources. You can also follow us on Instagram to stay connected. If you would like a direct line to the pod, perhaps leave a comment or share some career advice, feel free to leave us some fan mail and join the conversation. We may share your note in the next episodes. Just check out the description for the link. And please, don't forget our brothers and sisters in Gaza, the Congo, and Sudan. If you would like to donate, the links will be in the description below. Join us week after next for another exciting episode. Until then, take care and salam.